There was something magical about watching Manny Pacquiao in the ring. His fights weren't just athletic contests, they were living, breathing spectacles of raw speed, explosive power, and relentless heart. He didn't just beat opponents. He outworked them, outmaneuvered them, and overwhelmed them with a rhythm that felt impossible to match. Every punch carried not just force, but purpose. His movement quick, sharp, and unpredictable left crowds on the edge of their seats. For years, win after win, Pacquiao's reign looked untouchable, like a row of dominoes falling in perfect succession. One opponent after another fell to his fists. But as it always does, time caught up, and even the most legendary of athletes must eventually face the truth that the body no longer moves the way it used to. In his final years inside the ring, signs of decline slowly crept in. The speed that once made Pacquiao so elusive began to fade. The crushing power that had floored giants seemed to soften. His footwork, once a blur, started to slow. It wasn't sudden, it was subtle, but fans who had followed him closely could see it. The energy was still there, the drive still present, but his body wasn't always cooperating. That's the reality every fighter must come to terms with eventually. For Pacquiao, the warning signs were becoming clearer with each bout. The punches didn't land quite as cleanly. The reflexes lagged just a fraction of a second. And at the elite level of boxing, those tiny margins can mean everything. Perhaps the clearest sign came in his legendary rivalry with Juan Manuel Marquez. After a series of tightly contested battles between the two, their fourth meeting ended in the kind of dramatic fashion that only boxing can deliver. In the sixth round, Marquez landed a thunderous right hand, a shot that dropped Pacquiao instantly and left him unconscious face down on the canvas. The arena gasped. It wasn't just a knockdown. It was a moment that echoed through the sport. Pacquiao, the mighty warrior, was human after all. That punch didn't just end the fight, it shook the narrative. For a fighter who had built a career on durability, speed, and survival, it was a haunting reminder of how quickly things can change. Although he would go on to fight a few more times, it became increasingly clear that the Manny Pacquiao we once knew was slipping away. His last professional bout came on September 29, 2021, against the talented Cuban fighter Yordenis Ugas. While Pacquiao remained competitive, the firepower wasn't there. He couldn't cut off the ring like he used to. He couldn't throw in high-volume flurries for 12 rounds. He fought with pride and resilience, but he didn't win. And for many fans, that night felt like a gentle curtain call. No dramatic fall, no embarrassing performance, just a warrior bowing out, still standing, still respected. But to truly appreciate Manny's farewell, you have to go back to the beginning. Born Emmanuel Dapadron Pacquiao on December 17, 1978, in the humble town of Caiba, in the Bukidnon province of the Philippines, Manny's origin story reads like a movie script. Life wasn't easy. He was raised in a family of 7 children, and they struggled with deep poverty. From an early age, Pacquiao idolized fighters Bruce Lee for his martial arts mystique and Muhammad Ali for his charisma and boxing brilliance. Alongside his siblings, he'd watch grainy footage of old fights, imagining a world far beyond his small village. But dreams, as they say, need fuel, and for Manny, that fuel came in the form of hardship. By the time he was 14 years old, Pacquiao made a life-altering decision. He left home to help support his family. Street smart and scrappy, he turned to the one thing he was naturally good at: fighting. He had already learned how to defend himself growing up, and he began training as a boxer with the hope that it might offer a path out of poverty. He earned a spot on the Philippine national boxing team, which offered food, shelter, and training under government support. His amateur career was remarkable, boasting 60 wins and just 4 defeats. He wasn't just good, he was gifted. At just 16 years old, he made his professional debut. But even then, there was a problem: he was too small. Standing barely 4 feet 5 inches tall and weighing in at just 97 pounds, he didn't meet the minimum weight requirement for his division. In a now famous tale of determination, Manny confessed that he placed metal weights in his socks during weigh-ins to qualify for the fight. That kind of grit defined the rest of his career. He won his debut against Edmund Ignacio, setting the tone for a future no one could have predicted. Of course, the road wasn't always smooth. His first loss came early, at the hands of Rustico Torrecampo, in a fight that many say served as a wake-up call. But Manny bounced back in signature style, going on a run of 15 consecutive victories, capturing attention across Asia. By 2001, he had claimed his first world title in the super bantamweight division, and by 2003, he had moved up to super featherweight, where he famously defeated Marco Antonio Barrera with a dominant 11th round stoppage that sent shockwaves through the boxing world. That was just the beginning. In 2005, he faced Eric El Terrible Morales, a tough Mexican brawler. Pacquiao lost their first meeting, but in true champion fashion, he returned for a rematch the next year and left no doubt winning in emphatic fashion. His career soon became a highlight reel, facing and defeating some of the biggest names in boxing history: Oscar De La Hoya, Ricky Hatton, Miguel Cotto, Shane Mosley, and more. His fights with Juan Manuel Enriquez became legendary, marked by razor-close scorecards and explosive exchanges. He even stepped into the ring with Floyd Mayweather Jr.B. in what was billed as the fight of the century, though the bout itself didn't quite live up to its billing. Still, Pacquiao walked away with the respect of fans and the biggest paycheck of his life. Speaking of paychecks, Pacquiao's financial success in the sport is just as mind-blowing as his athletic achievements. Over the course of his career, he became a massive box office draw. His fights, particularly the ones broadcast on pay-per-view, were among the highest-selling in boxing history. Altogether, he fought in 25 PPV events, generating a staggering $1.3 billion in revenue. It's estimated that over 20 million people have purchased his pay-per-view matches over the years. In 2015, during the height of his popularity, Pacquiao ranked as the second highest-paid athlete in the world, behind only Floyd Mayweather. He had become more than a fighter, he was a brand, but Pacquiao wasn't content with just being a boxing icon. He wore many hats outside the ring: actor, singer, military reservist, real estate investor, philanthropist, and most notably, politician. In the Philippines, he ran for public office and served as both a congressman and senator, dedicating himself to public service and development initiatives. While some questioned the overlap of sports and politics, Pacquiao's desire to serve was genuine. He never forgot where he came from, and that humility kept him grounded even as his fame soared across continents. As his boxing career matured and began to slow down, Manny Pacquiao made a bold pivot into the world of politics, a move that surprised some but made perfect sense to those who knew him. With his humble beginnings and first-hand experience of poverty, Manny had long expressed a desire to give back to the people who had supported him since the early days. In 2010, he was elected to the Philippine House of Representatives, representing the province of Sarangani. His election wasn't just about fame, it was about trust. People saw in him a genuine figure, someone who didn't rise through wealth or privilege, but through sheer determination and a fighting spirit that mirrored their own struggles. A few years later, in 2016, he took his political ambitions a step further and was elected to the Philippine Senate, where he served a full 6-year term. During that time, he advocated for policies focused on poverty alleviation, education, and healthcare. Although he was still juggling public duties with occasional boxing matches, his commitment to national service was clear. He wasn't just showing up for photo ops. He was deeply invested in shaping the future of his country. While some critics questioned his legislative experience, others praised his sincerity and work ethic, hallmarks of his personality that never seemed to waver. Even after formally retiring from boxing in 2021, Pacquiao's impact on the sport and on his homeland remained powerful. To this day, his story is used as a symbol of hope across the Philippines, proof that a kid from a tiny town with nothing but talent and tenacity can rise to global stardom. In the slums of Manila, you'll find young boxers training barefoot in makeshift gyms, mimicking Pacquiao's movements and dreaming of their own shot at greatness. He became more than an athlete. He became a national icon, as revered for his humility and patriotism as for his championship belts. But the influence of Manny Pacquiao extends far beyond the Philippines. Around the world, especially in the boxing community, he's regarded as one of the greatest pound-for-pound fighters to ever grace the sport. Fans admired his willingness to fight anyone, anywhere, in any weight class. He didn't duck challenges, he embraced them. That courage, coupled with his fighting style, ferocious yet calculated, earned him respect in every corner of the globe. Whether you were watching from Los Angeles or London, Manila or Mexico City, chances are you stood up and cheered during a Pacquiao fight at least once.